One of the most common questions I get is about stimming, scripting, verbal stimming, all those kind of things, and whether it's a part of autism. Some people question what is stimming. So today I am answering a few questions about stimming, and I hope you enjoy it. Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera, autism mom, board certified behavior analyst, and best-selling author. Each week I provide you with some of my ideas about turning autism or signs of autism around. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do that now. Today I am answering some questions about stimming and a short excerpt from our membership call. So I hope you enjoy the answers to what is stimming and is it a good thing, a bad thing, what should we do about it? And here's my answer. But let's just talk about stimming, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about stimming, and a lot of autistic adults really don't like the fact that behavior analysts even talk about any reduction of self-stimulatory behavior. I just want to make it clear. We all stim. All of our leisure activities are stim behaviors. They're self-stimulatory behaviors. Basically, it's the function of automatic reinforcement, which means that we do things for pleasure. When we're typically developing adults, our leisure activities, like throwing a ball into a net and getting the ball in the net, brings us joy. We can either, mark it down as how many points we got. We definitely want, the goal is to shoot the baskets in the net. We could do that by ourselves. We could do that for 15 minutes. We can do that for an hour. We also, another self-stimulatory behavior, leisure activity, is playing the violin. And we're playing it because we can hear when a note is off or a note is on, and we can hear it, and it builds joy and excitement. I learned to play the piano, not great, but I definitely took lessons online and learned to play the piano during COVID. So I know my goal is to get the right notes. And when I hit the wrong notes, I'm like, but I keep going. I don't need anybody sitting around saying good job or that was right or that was wrong. I can just play and I can know whether I did a good job or not. So kids with autism or signs of autism are often very delayed with play skills and independent leisure activities, right? So what can happen is they can kind of stay in a very primitive kind of stimming. So stimming basically is what you do when nobody's engaging you or reinforcing you, or there's not much going on. So if we were sitting in a lecture and it was, in another language and we didn't even understand what they were saying, we might start doodling, or if we can get out our phones and we can start flipping through Facebook. These are all activities to keep our brains active when the surroundings aren't that fun. Waiting in line at the grocery store, we're not just standing there waiting. We're thinking about our next plan, or we're scrolling through Facebook and those sorts of things. So, but little kids who don't have great play skills tend to do very repetitive things when they're not engaged at the right level. So they could rock. They can, I had one client who banged his head on hard and soft surfaces until he had an open lesion on his head. And he was only 2 and just diagnosed with autism. He had actually a wound on his head that I took a picture of when we first started, because I knew that first and foremost, we needed to get rid of this wound. And when I asked the babysitter and the child's mother, how often does this banging happen? And where does this banging happen? And when does this banging happen? And the babysitter said that it happened out of the 9 hours that he was being watched per day there, it happened about 3 hours a day of banging. And it happened on a high chair, on a high back high chair. It happened in a pack and play when he was supposed to take a nap. He was going down for 2 naps. So he was sitting banging before he fell asleep. And when he woke up, he was banging again. While he was sitting watching TV, he was banging just on the hard surface. a soft surface of the edge of the sofa. It can be as severe as that. I mean, kids can even be more severe where it's not just, an open kind of brush burn, but it's actually, kids can be stimming and causing major injury. But in that case, that was pretty severe. So we got rid of the high chair, and we told him to go down to one nap a day, and to get him as soon as he started banging, like not to let him bang. So stimming can be dangerous, like that little boy, but it also can just be repetitive, like rocking, stimming, vocal stimming, hand flapping, like making noises, which people are like, well, stimming's a part of autism. I don't really think stimming's a part of autism. I think stimming happens when the child is not engaged in meaningful activities with high levels of reinforcement. I don't think stimming has to be a part of autism. And if a child is vocal stimming loud, it does, as a parent, I know this because Lucas had vocal stimming and he still does. It will prevent the family from being able to go to church or go to a restaurant easily or go in a plane. So, and as kids get older, they can also develop scripting behaviors, like scripting for movies repetitively, or those sorts of things, which can affect where they can work and where they can go and how much inclusion they have. So my goal is to help each child, reach their fullest potential and be as engaged as possible. Let me just pull this up quick and show you. This is, I have a blog on this. It's called The 3 Buttons, and this was Dr. Carbone. So whether you are at church or at the table or taking a bath or at a restaurant, your child is pushing one or more of these 3 buttons. So the middle button is what we want the child to be pushing. And that means that the demands are good, are at the right ratio, are good, and also reinforcement is at the right level. So this could look like, one of our questions is my child's happy at the table, he's doing matching, and how can I get him to do X? But happy at the table, accepting reinforcement, doing matching, pointing is at the right level. Now, if the child is not pushing that button, they could be pushing the escape button, which means they're flopping, they're trying to get away from you, they're whining, crying, swiping materials, throwing things, or the other button, which is automatic reinforcement. And this is stimming, scripting, rocking, moaning, vocal stimming. And basically it's their verbal doodling, or they're telling you that the demands are not right and the reinforcement is not right. And so we are not trying to get rid of stimming. We are trying to get a child to go from rocking or banging his head to a better leisure activity, which might mean stacking blocks over and over again, the same thing. Or it might mean going to, watching the same TV over and over again. That's stimming. Rewinding to the credits. That's stimming. But it's not dangerous, not like banging your head. And it looks more appropriate. You could have headphones and you could take the child to church potentially, and they could be happy stimming. Now, we don't want the child to be stimming for hours a day. Especially if it's not age appropriate and really building on their skills. Like I talk about my little client Jack a lot, and he stemmed with straws and bottles over and over again. Well, he needs to learn to eat new foods. He needs to learn to talk. He needs to learn to get dressed and those sorts of things. And so we're not trying to stamp out stimming. What we are trying to do is make it into appropriate or more appropriate leisure activities, and definitely get rid of dangerous stimming like headbanging. I hope you enjoyed that short excerpt from a question and answer call all about stimming. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, share this video, or leave me a comment. And if you would like more information about how you can pre-order my new book, Turn Autism Around, an action guide for parents of young children with early signs of autism. You can visit turnautismaround.com for pre-order information, for all information about how to get bonuses. And if you join quickly, you can potentially join our book launch team as well. The actual physical copy of the hardcover won't be out until March 30th of 2021, but it's also going to be available in Kindle, and I read it for Audible. So very exciting. It is going to be hopefully a big book, have a big impact. So for all the details about my new book, go to turnautismaround.com, and I'll see you right here next week.